Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is ProJared. What's up? I hope you're all doing good. And I love to play Red Orchestra 2, but you shouldn't play it because it's too hard for you. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to be talking about something that I wanted to talk about a while ago, but I never had really had the chance. And like I said, I'm making this videos for fun. I'm getting like 20, 30 viewers per video. I don't really care. That's just fun time for me. It's something to do in the evening when there's less sound outside and less cars outside. It's really cold right now. It's 10:30 p.m., 10:38 p.m. at the time of this video coming out, and it's raining outside. So if my internet dies or if my electricity dies, it really doesn't matter because I'm recording this, so it really doesn't matter. But I wanted to talk about someone special, someone whose videos I actually used to enjoy, and I still occasionally enjoy when he does put out videos on YouTube, who is ProJared. Now, in case you don't know anything about ProJared, what I'm going to be discussing in this video is who ProJared is, or was at least, what happened with him. Some people already know, but I think it's good to clarify, and the aftermath of the, well, extreme fuck up by everyone here. So, in case you don't know anything about ProJared, ProJared is a YouTuber, even though right now, the last video that someone made a documentary of him about, I think it was June the King, he made a video about him saying that right now most of his income comes from Twitch and from, I guess, a little bit of ad revenue from YouTube, because his videos went from getting like on average about between 900,000 and a million views to just plummeting to like between 150,000 to 250,000. So that's a quarter. I don't know how much money you get from 1 million views. It can't be that much, especially if you're not super user friendly. I don't know. That's never going to happen to me, so I don't really care. But he used to be, a really entertaining YouTuber. He made some fun content. I thought it was fun. I used to watch him. I used to have a playlist of him, ProJared Chronological, on my cell phone, so I could just like watch it during the day, so that my brain can have something to eat while I'm doing other stuff. But the reason why I wanted to make this video is to get to something afterwards. So about, I think it was like 4 years ago. I'm not going to double check. I think it was 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe less, maybe even 2 or 3 years ago. I think something like that. 3 years ago, there was allegations of him that surfaced that said that he was, if I'm not mistaken, I think that the allegation was that he cheated on his then wife, and that he was cucking his wife with another woman, and that his then wife and now ex-wife, I believe, basically said like, no, not anymore. We're not going to let this happen anymore. And that's basically what happened. They were just like, hey, man, like, it's over. We don't want it. And what happened, and this is kind of like the point of this video. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It's not going to be that long. I have a lot of gigabytes on my on my drive where I'm setting this up, but not that many. But the thing that really bothered me about this, and this is something that happened, is that YouTube and everyone else just kind of fucking like went fist and balls deep into him. Everyone. Absolutely everyone. Me included, I think. I wrote a couple of comments like in his old videos that had like a bomb of dislikes. Like every single video that he had, like from Two Worlds, all the first one in 2010, I think, all the way down to like his Sailor Moon video, I think was like the last one before all the damage had already been done. And it was just a mass of dislikes. And as you can imagine, the YouTube algorithm doesn't like that. It hates it, as a matter of fact. Dislikes is like the one thing that you do in order to never, ever, ever get recommended. If you get like 1,000 dislikes in your video and one like Darkside Phil, you're never going to get recommended. Anyone. Like, everyone hates you, and you're making money off of like 2 or 3 mentally handicapped people that donate their paychecks to you. That's a video for another day, though. I'm not even going to talk about that. But everyone cut ties with him, like Game Grumps, John Trump, PVG, Peanut Butter Gamer. Everyone cut ties with him immediately. And there's one point that he said, because he made an apology video that I'm going to get to in the future. In the future, I mean like right now. Like after, like I want to say like the first 2 or 3 months of this, he finally came back on the scene where everyone just assumed that he was off the internet for good, because it was like, fuck. My reputation's ruined. I'm never going to get back on my reputation. I think his subscriber count plummeted from like 1.1 million to like 700,000. That's like a third of your entire subscriber count, which is your livelihood, by the way. Bam! Just completely annihilated, just like that. Based on a lie, by the way. And he made a video which is called "You've Been Lied to." I'm not going to link anything here. You can find it on YouTube. It's all there. You don't really need a link for this. But he made a video about this on YouTube that says "You've been lied to," and it's got like a lot of views and a lot of likes and a lot of everything. But in that video, he says something incredibly important. He says two things which are incredibly important to the situation. Obviously, the video, in case you don't know what it's about, if you want to watch it, it's a basically the summed up version is that he everyone lied, like his ex-wife was lying about the abuse and the cocking allegations, and the most important thing is he had the receipts. He had messages, he had everything. If you want to watch that video, watch it and give it a like and subscribe to that fucker right now because he needs those views and he needs that money. You got to give him those views, man. He needs it. Like I'd be super happy if ProJared like got back into like full time YouTube making like he did in the past. Even though in the past he wasn't making like a million videos a day, but he was doing well enough, sponsorships and whatnot. And even now on his newer videos, he still gets a couple of sponsorships. So I'm very happy that he's hopefully getting a little bit of money out of that. I hope, and good sponsorships. I hope as well. But the second thing that he said, which is really important. Well, I think it's the first, but really it's the second, so it doesn't matter. But what he said, which is really, 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 really hurtful when you think about it, is the fact that no one asked him if the allegations were true. No one. None of his so-called friends and people that he'd been hanging out for like at least a decade, from Normal Boots or like hiddenvideo.de and all these other websites that now are deceased because no one gave a shit about those websites. They cared about YouTube. All these people, according to him, and at this point I'm willing to believe him, none of them called him to ask if the allegations were true. Imagine that you're friends with like someone for like the better part of your life. Like 10 years is a long time. 10 years is a fucking long time for a friendship. Like the longest friendship that I've had was probably like 8 years, and I ruined it because that was a woman friend that I had, and eventually we slept together, and I kind of ruined the friendship. That was my fault, you know. I should never mix friendships with sex. Friendships get ruined when you add sex to the equation. That's a recommendation. But that's no joke, by the way, really. I've ruined friendships with girls because of sex. And just like, they're like my friends. We're hanging out. We used to go everywhere together, hang out, talk about everything. And I ruined my friendships because of sex. This is different, though. Not even related to the main idea. But my whole point about this, and the reason why this is so bad, is that imagine that, like, you get accused of, like, again, I don't like to talk about this too much, but like you're gonna get accused of something. Let's say something so that we don't make it too specific. And the world, like all the TV stations in the world are like showing your case and they're saying this person did this horrible thing. Let's say he spit on like a flag or something like that. And they're like people that are coming out and saying he spit on the flag, I saw him, and blah 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 blah. And then this person's reputation is ruined, you know. And in all that time, none of your friends ever called you to ask if this was true. They probably just heard about it from like a third-hand source or like a second-hand source, not even a first-hand source. And there's no video, there's no evidence, where everyone is saying it, and this person came out and said, like, crying, like, oh, I saw him spit on the flag. So everyone believes this person. Normally women, men don't get believed too much. But a woman, when they say this shit, it's like that Juicy Smollett case that the guy said, like, I'm not suicidal. He paid a person, like, he paid with a check to two people so that they would beat him up. Fake beat him up so that he could make a case, and he used to be an actor, and now he's whatever. I have no idea. I remember that. But it's the same case. And none of your friends ever call you in all that time. And you're waiting, like, as a person that is being falsely accused of something, that someone is going to come over and, like, talk to you and be like, hey, did this really happen? Like, I want to hear from you. And, you know, you can believe that person or not. But I just remembered one thing while I was talking. The Simpsons had a similar situation. The Simpsons made an episode where, if I'm not crazy, I'm actually going to turn up the volume here. Hold on. Oh, it's already max. But the Simpsons made an episode where the same thing happened. They were like, there was like an episode. Oh yeah, there was an episode with a gummy bear stuck to a girl's ass, and everyone in the world was like, "Oh, Homer Simpson did this," but no one ever asked him for his version. There's like that meme where he says like Homer sleeps nude in a airbag that he claims to give him sexual powers. It's like that kind of stuff. it's the same situation. No one ever went up to him and asked him, or they altered it. No, Mr. Simpson, stay back, stay back. No. Recreation may not have happened. It's like the same thing happens. It's so ridiculous, so ridiculous. And it's the same thing that happened to him. So imagine how he must have felt when the friends that you have for 10 years, better part of 10 years, are like, or maybe longer. We don't know how long. Maybe they knew each other for longer. And let's say that they hung out regularly. Maybe not the best friends in the world, but they're close people. They're a group, tight knit group of people. And instead of like asking you, hey man, did this happen? They just cut all ties with you. Now again, this is not the important part about this. This is not the important part about this, and this is what's actually important about this, and this is the part that really bothers me. For the first thing, obviously, is that he never got his popularity back. Like I said, he went from like a million views or a million something views per video to just like 150, 250, 300,000 views, and that's still a lot of views, but it's nowhere near to what he was getting before. And I don't know how he's making money. In fact, I always wonder what happens to these YouTubers that make all these like videos and stuff, and then some kind of shit happens, and then everyone is like, he just drops off the fucking face of the earth, and then they go from like getting like 5 million, 10 billion views, and then they go like 1 million, 500,000, 100,000, 50,000, and I'm just thinking like, god damn man, I could never be a YouTuber because of shit like that. Like imagine that your job, all your source of income, your main source of income, which is a lot of money, because I was watching a video from, what's the name of this guy, from Carl Jobst, who is a legend. He's the legend. He made a video about like someone doing something, and he said that he made like in a video with 2.5 million views, he made like $13,000 in total, which I think is a huge amount. $13,000 is a lot of money. I mean, it's not a lot of money for like a year, but it's a lot of money if you make one video of it. And if you make like maybe like two of those videos per month, or maybe once every 3 weeks, that's a lot of money. That's 250. Let's say you get that amount of views per video. That's almost $250,000 per year. That's more than enough to live comfortably for the rest of your life, with or without children, married. And he's married, and he's got children. So I'm very happy for him. But imagine that all of a sudden, like there was some allegation that said like Carl Jobs was lying to you, and everyone just has the same thing. They have like the same situation with ProJared, the ProJared situation, and he gets ProJared, and then his views drop from like all that amount to nothing in like one go, and he goes from like $13,000 to maybe $2,000 per video. It's still a lot of money, but it's not going to be enough to survive. Not if you're making like 2 videos a month or every 3 weeks, which is what Carl Jobs does. I mean, he does like 1 video a month that's really well done and really well received. But he also like makes videos as soon as information's made, so he knows what he's doing. He knows what's up. And then, like, imagine that his videos like dropped out to like nothing. And this reminds me of another YouTuber, which is not related to this situation, but it reminds me of Sharice, who is the boundary break guy. So if you don't know anything about the boundary break guy, he's the guy in YouTube. If you type boundary break, he's the guy that used to make videos on YouTube about basically what's outside the walls of the game. So like no clip through everything. You could see like all these things. And he did a couple of good videos and he got some decent views. But then he made a video, and this is something that I'm getting to. He made a video much later where he said like, SOS, and he started to cry to his audience because he had to move from a big house into a smaller house because the dumbass thought that it was a good idea to upkeep his family with a very niche YouTube channel. And if I go to YouTube right now, in fact, I'm going to go to YouTube right now and I'm going to see if I can find his channel, Boundary Break, just to see if how many Boundary Break, and I'm going to see how many views the guy has right now. He's got, okay, like, this is what I mean. He made a video. He's got 1 million subscribers. And he's got, like, if you see his, like, most popular video, it's got 3.7 million views. The next one is Grand Theft Auto views. Again, probably a lot of money. But then if you look at what he's been doing lately, in the last 6 months, he's made about, maybe like in 1 month he made three, four, five, maybe 600,000 views. In another one, he made four, five, six, seven. Actually, no, 500,000. Next month, he made about 300,000 views. The next month, he made. I'm not even going to show this. This is all here. Next month, he made like 200,000. Yeah, 200,000. This last month, 2 months ago, he made about, again, yeah, 120,000, and this month he's made 53, about like 350,000. Now this guy, again, this is important to clarify, because this guy, he's convinced that he could like make a living out of this. But the thing that really bothers me about this guy, I know it's not related to this, but I want to talk about this real quick. The thing that really bothers me about this is that this asshole was not thinking about his family or anything. It's like if I wanted to be a YouTuber now and I said, like, I'm going to make a living off of this, how many views am I getting? Like 20, 30 per video, maybe in a week. And that's it. How many likes? 2, 3 likes per video, I guess. What's your most viewed video? Maybe one that I made like 10 years ago about how to cheat in Empire Total War. And I said, I want to be a YouTuber. So I'm going to make this videos, and this is how I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to put in any effort. Now, if you're doing that alone, if you live alone and you don't have any family, or, if you live alone and you have a job outside of YouTube, and you make enough money to survive, to eat, to have a place to stay, hopefully, maybe indulge yourself in a few like entertaining activities, maybe have a console, something else, a computer, I think that's fine. But if you have a family, you have a responsibility to them, not to your fucking career. You have a responsibility to your family. This would be like if a drug dealer just kind of like says one day, you know what? I think it might be time for me to hang up the apron, stop cooking meth, and like, be with my family and like help them, like kind of like a backwards Walter White. Even though the motivations are different, but it's the same idea. Like, imagine like a backwards Walter White, a guy that said like, right, I'm very famous, but you know what? I have a family and I have cancer, so it might as well try to just get a steady job that doesn't have to pay too much, and get like friendship with my friends and everything, and just kind of like, if you reverse the story of Breaking Bad, you have a story about an inspiring guy that wants to get out of the drug dealing business and eventually becomes a high school teacher, high school chemistry teacher. It's the same situation. Now, what I wanted to get to with this, with the ProJared allegation, I wanted to leave that aside real quick, is that after the video came up and everyone was like, shit, you know what? We fucked up. Everyone was talking shit about ProJared. Absolutely no one apologized. There was never any video on Twitch, on YouTube, or on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter that said, hey, I'm Jontron, or I am the Game Grumps guys. Who are they? Aaron and Dan Avidan. Aaron Hansen and Dan Avidan. Like, did they ever get a fucking apology video that said, you know what, we fucked up, and we contacted him to say we're sorry because we kind of jumped into the bandwagon, and everyone was saying like, oh, this motherfucker's like a sick, perverted bitch that like cheated on his wife and whatever, and abused her or some shit. I don't remember what the allegations are specifically. I'd be lying if I said I did. Which kind of perpetuates the problem. But then no one, absolutely no one, made a video about it. No one. Fucking no one. Fucking no one. That's the thing that really gets to me. No one ever made an apology video. All the people that were talking shit about ProJared for that like period of time, like 3 to 4 months, everyone on the internet, everyone was talking shit about him. I think even like Penguin Zero probably talked shit about him. But did we ever get an apology? Hell no, we never got an apology. There was never an apology video made by anyone that said like, you know what, in the comment section, like if you went onto the comment section of like people that played with him, there were like people that like, I don't know, like Peanut Butter Gamer. He made a couple of videos and other stuff, and you'd see like one comment from ProJared, and it was just positive, 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 positive. Then that time period, horrible, fuck you, kill yourself, you suck. And then afterwards, I'm sorry, we fucked up, I'm sorry. If you go to his normal videos on his channel, if you go ProJared chronological on YouTube and you search it and you find it and you go from Two Worlds all the way to the last one, and I remember because I watched his videos and I like them. They're very entertaining, very rewatchable, by the way, which is always a good thing. You watch it and it's like, oh fuck, I'm looking at all this stuff and it's like, wow, look at all the fucking negative comments. Look at the dislike bar that at one point was like almost like a third dislikes. It went back to normal. And so many people giving him support and being like, okay, let's watch it again. Let's give him that ad revenue back. I hope he got some out of it. And I also hope that whoever he made a lawsuit out of, I know that there's a legal way that you can make like a defamation lawsuit that can restitute you for missed income thanks to whatever that person said or did. So if a person it's like if I was falsely accused, for example, of something like robbing a car or something, and that affected my income, then I have the legal rights, or I guess the legal freedom, not the legal right, to call out the person and say, you cost me in this period of time in which I couldn't work, and potential business calculations, I don't know how they work, $1.2 million. That's what you have to pay me back. And the person's obviously going to fight it, but this is a legal lawsuit and you can present evidence. You can say, before this, I was making this amount of money, no allegations, no problem. This person invents that I robbed the car. I lost like 3/4 of my income and I maintained it. Now I want that money back. You can do that. That's a legal thing. You can check it. It's a lawyer thing. I'm not a lawyer, obviously, but you can check it out. If someone like harasses you that way, you can always do it. So what's the lesson here? This is the important thing, because there always has to be a lesson in any video that you make. In my opinion, any video on YouTube, any movie, anything, there has to be something that you learn out of this. The lesson to learn out of this, which is incredibly important to learn, is always check before you act, because everything and anything that you read on the internet could be a lie. Unless you see the main source, you don't know where that's coming from. You don't know if what they're saying is true. This is like the same thing. It's innocent until proven guilty, but people don't do that. People normally just assume that if a person is like publicly found guilty, or everyone thinks he or she is guilty, they're just going to jump in and fuck them up and just punch him and spit him in the face and keep hammering it in until everyone is completely dead about it. And then once they realize that the allegations were false or whatever, that is when no one cares. Everyone just kind of like sits, they just walk in different directions and they just forget about it. They just like pretend it never happened. And that cycle repeats itself anew every time on the internet. It's a ProJaredism that happens. People keep doing it. It keeps happening and people keep fucking going into it, and they keep going into it and they keep saying like, oh shit, man. Holy shit. What do we do here? What do we do? And the reality is that it's really sad that no one ever apologized to him. But the lesson here is that whatever you read on the internet, and this is the most important thing, before you judge anyone, you have to look at the real evidence, not at what a person said. Because this is what gets people arrested. There was like that person, that kid that lost like his career in soccer because some girl didn't like him and she lied and she said, he raped me. So he was like kicked out of school. He was arrested, and then the girl was like sued, and then she was arrested for like 3 years, but she only served 1 or something like that. And he lost his career. Like imagine that happening to anyone. That's the age that we live in, where people don't no longer double check stuff, where people don't care if what you're saying is true or false. They just immediately read it. And it's like The Simpsons. I always like to quote The Simpsons. It's like they say in The Simpsons, there's one episode with aliens aliens, quote unquote, not Kang and Kodos, no, and Kodo, Kudos. What the hell was his name? Kang and Kodo, whatever. But not like that, where the kids are like Milhouse and Bart and like in a library, and they're looking at books, and they said, "Look at this book that I found that aliens are from blah 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 something," and then they show the picture in the back of some crazy like frizzy haired crazy guy with crazy glasses and everything, just smiling. And Mijo says, and if it's in a book, it's gotta be true. And Bart just looks at him like, no, scary. And it's the same situation. Like people don't question where the information comes from. They immediately jump to conclusions. If you're watching this video, if you're one of the 10 people that ever watch this video, always remember, check before you know. Make sure that what you know is factually and 100% truth before you pass judgment on anything. And even then, try not to pass judgment. I try not to. I treat everyone the same. If someone does something, there was probably a reason for it. Just be careful with that. Be careful when you go on the internet and you read something about a YouTuber and it says like he inserted his finger up someone's asshole. Check first, then make sure it's true. And how do you make sure it's true? You check the source. And what is the source? Normally the person, the accusations. You don't make a judgment until you have 100% evidence that it's real. That's the way to do it. So if you read an article on the internet, on YouTube, or you watch a video, it's like, hey, the Penguin Zero, you sexually licked a boy's like nutsack or something, and then he smiled and he spat on his face. How many people are going to believe it? It doesn't matter, because the first thing that you have to do is check: is this true? Don't say, oh, but it was in an article. Is this true? Oh, but I read it. Is it true? You don't know. It's not yes or no. You don't know. How do you know? When you can see it directly. Like if I saw a video, an actual videotape of like Penguin Zero doing that stuff, which I just made up. It could be anything. Like again, him like giving the finger to like, I don't know, the Pope or someone. I'd be like, fuck you, Pope. And yeah. And everyone was like watching that video. Then, and only then, would you say it's real, right? But no, because maybe the angle was wrong. Like the only way that I could do it was if I was there and I saw like him going up to the Pope and be like, "Hey Pope, fuck you! I really hate you," and the Pope reacted like, "God damn, is that for me?" And like Charlie was like, "Yeah, fuck you." That would be enough for me to say he went up to it. I don't know why he did it. Maybe he thought it was going to be funny. Maybe he thought something else. That's when you do it. But that's not normally how it goes. People just see an angle and they say, he said hello to fuck you. It's like a constructed sentence. And then people watch it and it's like, oh, this is conclusive evidence that Mr. Penguin Zero did that and he gave the finger to the Pope. And people are like, oh shit, he gave the finger to the Pope? What an asshole. Without knowing if it's true. If you know this, you have to check before you know. Always. No exception. Always. That's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to get that out of the way. I think tomorrow I have a week off. I have 9 days off actually, including Saturday and Sunday because I'm not working the next week. So I'm gonna probably make another video soon. And blah blah blah. If you like, you know what to do. If you like the video, you know what to do. And if you want to subscribe, you know what to do. And if you want to give me a follow on Twitch, I do appreciate it. That I'm a whore for that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is sopamanxx signing off. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to turn it off now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.